Mike works a dead-end job that he hates. He barely gets any vacation or any freedom. Every evening when he comes back from work after commuting for over an hour, he's so tired that all he feels like doing is to microwave some cheap junk food and plop down on the couch to watch TV. But deep down, Mike is a very ambitious individual. He dreams of a better life. He wants to build a successful online business, get in shape, and find the love of his life. But the days are flying by, yet Mike still hasn't started. He didn't take action. He says he doesn't have time. Silly Mike. If only he knew how to manage his time like a millionaire, he'd be able to achieve so much more in less time. Chances are, if you resonated with that short story, you find yourself in a position very similar to that of Mike's. Maybe right now you're working a job that doesn't really pay you that much and you don't really like that job. You feel like something is missing in your life. Maybe freedom, maybe enjoyment, maybe love, maybe accomplishment. If we haven't met before, my name is Fred, and just a couple years ago, I was completely broke, depressed, and I hated my life to say the least. Fast forward to today, I'm now running a profitable online business. I pick my own schedule and living a life I never thought I could have. And that's exactly why, in this video, I want to share with you the 8 keys that will allow you to manage your time like a millionaire and get so much more stuff done. You'll be able to do in one day what it takes most people 2 weeks to do. Step 1. Set 3 main goals for the next 12 months. Now, why should you not set more than 3 goals? Why only 3? If you set more goals than that, it's easy to get lost, overwhelmed, and distracted. I personally like to set a fitness-related goal, a career or business-related goal in my case, and then another goal can be anything. It can be related to a hobby, to a personal project, to anything you like. There's a very good book on the art of focusing on the essentials. It's called The One Thing. A lot of people think that to become more successful, it's all about doing more, grinding, working longer, harder, but it's not necessarily always the case. I mean, billionaires don't work 1 billion hours a day. It's impossible. And plenty of people from all over the world work insanely hard, yet they never make millions of dollars. Now, why should you set goals for only the next 12 months and not, let's say, the next 3 years? With each year comes new challenges, new opportunities, and also new goals. Most people have no clue what they want 10 years from now, aside from the obvious: health, love, and more money, more freedom. But those are not goals, those are wishes. A goal would be something like, I want to have $1 million in my bank account after tax before I turn 30. That's a specific goal. It has a set amount, you can measure it, and also it has a specific end date. It's limited in time. So realistically speaking, for those 3 goals, what do you hope to achieve in the next 12 months? It's also a shorter time frame, it's nearby, so it's easy to visualize having the things that you want in 12 months as opposed to in 5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 years is a long time to work while not seeing results. Now, you also need to have an extremely powerful why you're doing things. Ask yourself this: what makes you get out of bed every morning? I like to say that if you don't have a strong reason as to why you should get out of bed, maybe you should just stay in it. The reason why most people quit and why they don't get what they want is because their why is not solid. It's like if you're trying to build a house. If you are trying to build it on solid foundations, everything is going to be great. You'll have the beautiful house you've always wanted. However, if you try to build a house on unstable, weak, shaky foundations, if you build a magnificent house, it won't matter. Everything is going to fall apart at the slightest wind or rain. To give you an example, if you want to start a business, it's great to want to do it to make more money, to experience more luxury, more abundance, to be able to go out to the nice restaurants, to buy the nice cars. But when you're a bit sick, a bit tired, you're not motivated, working is the last thing that you'd feel like doing after your day job or your studies. If you only have materialistic reasons, oftentimes it's not going to be enough to push you to do the boring work because your brain doesn't care about your goals. Your brain would much prefer to go into scroll on social media or to watch Netflix as opposed to working a couple hours extra after your studies or after your job on your business. And the proof is that's exactly what most people do. When they're done with school or with work, they go and entertain themselves. They play video games, they eat some junk food, they watch TV, they watch social media. So make sure you know why you do things. My main reason for starting my own online business was so I could have more freedom, more abundance than I would have otherwise with a job. I wanted to be able to pick my own hours, to wake up every morning and have peace of mind. If you want to start your own online business but you have no clue where to start, I've recorded a free video in which I'm going to analyze every popular online business model. Together, we'll be taking a look at the pros, at the cons, and I'm also going to share with you for completely free the 3-step process that you can use to get your first customers as quickly as possible. There's the link in the description below. Step 2. Schedule your priorities. The truth is that when people say that they don't have the time to do this or to do that, they're lying. Either they're lying to themselves or they're lying to you. In reality, whether you you make no money, whether you're a student, whether you have a 9 to 5, whether you're a billionaire, a millionaire, a celebrity, an athlete, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So when someone tells you, I'm sorry, I don't have enough time, in reality what they're saying is, I'm sorry, it's not in my priorities. Other things matter more to me than this. Time management and achieving big things in life, achieving your goals, it's not about how much time you have available, it's about the way that we prioritize certain things above other things. And honestly, if you really want to achieve a certain goal, you'll do what it takes to get there. Because you can't build more muscle without working out and eating the right foods in the right quantities. You can't build a successful online business without doing the boring work that you don't feel like doing. So no matter what it is that you want to do, that you want to accomplish, either way you'll need to make plenty of sacrifices along the way. But if the outcome is truly worth it in your eyes, you'll do what you need to do anyway. At the end of the day, ask yourself, are you willing to pay the price? It's a simple yes or no answer. At the end of the day, you can either have excuses or results, but not both at the same time. And understand this, you will have to make sacrifices, you will have to make concessions, you'll have to say no to some people. You are not going to achieve anything out of the ordinary by following the crowd and doing what most people are doing. You need to go the extra mile, so be ready for it. Step 3. Use the 80-20 principle to your advantage. The funny thing, and most people don't realize that, oftentimes less is more. This means that you can often do less and get more results, like better results, than if you were to do more. It's kind of like the quantity versus quality approach, because you'll often hear motivational speakers, business people say that you need to do more, and that's completely true. Sometimes you will hear me say that, but it's only true to a certain degree. At some point, if you do too much, you will hit what we call the point of diminishing returns. It means that anything extra that you do past that point, it won't help you to get better results. And if anything, it's the complete opposite. Your results are going to go down the toilet. You will only get worse and worse results. If you want to get in shape, if you work out too much, you're going to overtrain. You won't be able to properly recover, and so you won't get what you want. If you work too much in your career or on your business, you're going to burn out. That is why you need to find the sweet spot. You need to do enough to get what you want, but not too much, otherwise you'll face the negative side effects of it. And if you do too little, of course, you won't get the desired outcome. You'll be very disappointed. So that's exactly where the 80-20 principle comes in handy. In every area of life, you'll notice that 80-20 principle. For instance, 20% of the people make 80% of the money. 80% of the car accidents happen on 20% of the roads. 80% of people live in 20% of the cities. 80% of the time, you only wear 20% of your clothes. So as you can see, it's almost a fundamental law of nature. So why not use it to your advantage to get more stuff done in less time and to get ahead of 99% of people, crushing your competition in the way. Now, how do you apply this in work or in business? You want to identify the key activities that bring you most of the results. Like sometimes in companies, when they sell multiple products, they'll notice that one single product is giving them the bulk of their monthly revenue. So instead of promoting the products that don't get many sales, that people don't really buy that much, they're not that enthusiastic about it, they can instead focus their marketing efforts on the 20% of products that give them 80% of their revenue. And if they do that, they're guaranteed to skyrocket their business's growth. If you have a service-based business, the 20% of activities that will in fact bring you 80% of the results is reaching out to more people. It's client acquisition. It's getting on sales calls with potential customers and closing them. If you're trying to grow a YouTube channel, it's publishing videos. If you want to become a pro-efficient writer, it's writing. So ask yourself, what are the key activities that are non-negotiable? Like if I don't do those things, I can't get the outcome that I want. And then you double down on those activities and you let go of all of the rest. If you can delegate certain things, great, do that. If you can eliminate certain things that don't really matter, do that. Now, if some tasks are not that important, yet you have to do them, you want to only do them after you've done the biggest tasks, the tasks with the highest possible return on investment. Step 4, eat the frog. Now, no one wants to eat the frog, yet it is an essential part to becoming successful in any area of life. The goal is to start your workday with the hardest task. Now, some people are night owls, they work better at night, but for most people, they will have the best cognitive functions, the most energy, the most willpower when they first begin their day. Because think about it, at the end of a long work day, what do you feel like doing? Do you feel like working? Not necessarily. Most people feel like watching TV, and that's completely fine. When you've worked hard, you have earned the right to play hard. What I personally do is I wake up, I eat my breakfast, then I head straight to the gym, I work out there for about an hour and a half, it depends on the day and on the session, and then I get back home and I complete 2 intense sessions of deep work. And so no matter what happens before lunch hits, I've already won the day. It doesn't matter if some plans come up later, I have done what I needed to do. Step 5. Use the Enzy Matrix to decide if you really need to do a task. Now, the Enzy Matrix is a very helpful tool to help you decide whether you should do a task right now or delegate it, eliminate it, or do it later, so schedule it. By asking yourself the right questions, just by looking at the Enzy Matrix, you'll be able to see immediately whether the task needs to be done right now, later, by you, by someone else, or if it can be removed completely. It's going to save you so much time in your decision-making process. It's a game changer. If you don't use it, you're missing out. It's going to allow you to focus on the essentials. Most of the time, what gets you results, it's not those fancy hacks, those secrets that become popular on social media. It's the boring fundamentals. But because they're boring, they're not sexy. So people don't want to focus on those. And that is exactly why they fall for shiny object syndromes. Step 6. Useful multitasking versus harmful multitasking. Plenty of scientific studies have demonstrated time and time again that multitasking completely destroys our ability to get productive work done. I once saw a comment of someone on my videos saying that successful people listen to audiobooks while they're working. I mean, okay, that sounds very productive. I don't know how you can personally focus while listening to audiobooks and at the same time, let's say, writing an email for your customers, but hey, maybe you have superpowers. Now, some forms of multitasking are actually beneficial. For instance, I know some people, they walk on a treadmill as they take sales meetings, but multitasking can be extremely harmful when you are trying to do two tasks at the same time. It's only going to lead to poor work performance because your brain is going to be spending more time trying to switch between each different task, trying to get in the flow of doing that task as opposed to actually working on it. Step 7. Use deep work to do in 2 hours a day what it takes most people 8 hours to do. I didn't just invent that number. Plenty of scientific studies have shown that on the average 8-hour workday, most employees are only really productive for 2 to 3 hours at the most. And if you think about it, it makes sense. I've seen plenty of office workers, they spend most of their time, they're playing chess, they're on Facebook. They're not actually working. And I mean, that's typically what happens when you pay people per hour of their time. They're not incentivized to do better work because they're not paid based on the results that they get. They're paid per hour of time. So if they spend 10 hours at their work, they're paid. Now, obviously, don't get me wrong. If they don't do any work at all, they're going to get caught and get fired. But that goes to show you, most people could cut down their work hours in half and get as much stuff done, if not more, if only they learned to focus deeply and intensely for long periods of time. So by doing deep work, you win in every possible way. You do better work, so you make more money, you become more successful, and at the same time, you've got more free time. Either you can use that free time to reinvest in your business, to come up with better strategies, to do other types of work, or you can use it to have some free time with the people that you love, to enjoy your hobbies, to relax, to have fun. Now, how do you go about doing deep work? The first thing is that before you begin a deep work session, you want to set an intention. Ask yourself, what am I trying to achieve before the end of that deep work session? Because if you go into a deep work session not knowing what you need to do, having no goals in mind, it's going to be very difficult to actually make progress. What doesn't get measured does not get improved. You need to know what you're aiming for. Otherwise, it's kind of like having a blindfold and trying to shoot targets in the dark. Most likely, you're not going to hit the target at the center. And then the crucial step is to tell people in your environment to not disrupt you, because you are going to be doing intensely focused work. Because if you don't tell people, they might think you're available. They'll knock at your door. They'll try to have a conversation with you. They'll call you. They'll get angry because you're not responding. Communication is the key to avoiding all of this. Then you want to close the windows, the doors, and make sure your desk is clutter-free. Because all of the objects on your desk, you're not going to notice this consciously, because it happens on a subconscious level. But your brain's going to see everything on the desk all messy, and it will lead to a messy mind. And especially if you've got like your phone on your desk, even if it's turned off, your brain is going to see it and it will be tempted to go ahead and to use it as opposed to working, because your brain associated your phone with TikTok, with Instagram, with dopamine, with texting friends, and that will always be more fun to do for your brain as opposed to doing boring kind of work. So remove your phone, put it in a drawer in another room. You want it out of sight, because out of sight equals out of mind. Now, sometimes in the morning as I work, I use a light therapy lamp, especially in the winter months when it's cloudy outside or rainy. We don't get enough sunlight. Now, of course, it's not the same as going outside, getting some vitamin D directly on your skin, in your eyes, from the sun itself, but it's better than nothing. And if anything, it can act as a placebo, because now when you have the light turned on, you know, okay, I'm going to focus. Then you put some headphones with active noise cancellation technology, you listen to some binaural beats, maybe you've got a cup of tea or of coffee, you have your light therapy lamp, your brain is going to see that environment and associate it with doing deep work. So now every time you sit down at your desk, you've got your cup of coffee or of tea, the light therapy lamp, you wear your headphones, now your brain will know, okay, let's focus. If the cues in your environment are the same, it's going to teach your brain that, okay, during this time we need to do some work. It's kind of like those scientific experiments. They had some people ring some bells, and the dogs knew that if people rang the bell, it means that food was coming. So now, whenever the researchers would ring the bell, the dogs would salivate, thinking food is coming, because it programmed their brain to expect food when hearing a bell. And then you want to set a timer for 45 minutes up to 90 minutes. I've found it personally really hard to focus on working for more than 2 hours without any breaks. Some people can do it, that's great. But I personally prefer to do shorter, more intense work sessions and to take some breaks in between. Step 8. Plan time for relaxation. You can't be working all of the time. Sometimes I tell this story, but at some point I was working so much I got sick. So because I couldn't stop myself, life stopped me, and it wasn't in a pleasant way. Like I've said earlier, if you work hard, you have earned the right to play hard. Every successful person that you see, whether it be on social media or the people that you hear about in the news, the celebrities, the top athletes, the famous movie actors, the successful businessmen, the billionaires, they all work really hard, but they also play hard. They know how to have fun. No one is built to work 24/7, 7 days a week, all year round. It's impossible. We are not robots, we're not machines. I personally started an online business to have more freedom than a job would grant me, to be able to pick my own schedule, to work wherever I want in the world, to be able to achieve greater levels of wealth, to be able to provide for the people that I love, to take my family out to dinner and pay the bill, not to have more of a job than a job forever. Like I said, if you're curious and you want to figure out what is the best online business to start for beginners, the link to the free video analyzing every popular business model is in the description below. Now with that said, if you apply the 8 steps we went over in this video, you are guaranteed to become more successful. I have no doubt about it.